Hello, my name's Fox and I'm with Fox. Haircut, but also I feel like I should. Ah, God. Here's the thing: I really like to have. I like the sides being short right now, but I feel like I got too much taken off the top. I feel like there's not enough floof, and I need like more floof to cover this way. And I just, even then, still whatever. But yeah, there's gonna be some reviews I'm gonna be doing, like the Danny Phantom review, stuff like that. I want to do Loki right now because I just finished watching Loki's, and Loki season 2. I'm gonna check out the trailer real quick, and then I'm gonna talk more about the season. Yeah, that's all recording. That's recording. Just want to make sure it's all. Yep. All right. Let's just watch this real quick. That way then I can, have some clips to jump around at. And let's begin now.
Hobie? Hello? We have a little bit of a situation we wanted to run by you.
Mobius! Wow! Great to see you again.
That's what's been happening.
Wow. Time slipping.
Wait, you know that?
Yeah.
You've seen that?
Yeah.
Can you fix that?
No. It's impossible to time slip in the TVA.
I know, but we just saw it happen.
Yeah.
I've been pulled through time between the past and the present.
Hello?
If what I saw is true, there's nothing to stand between this world and utter destruction.
Only one way to find out. Little good old-fashioned legwork. Listen,
The world's fair.
Styles, you're a man of action, which is fine. I take a more slow, deliberate, cerebral.
Is Key Lime Pie actually good? That's what I really want to know, because they make it seem like it's so good. And also, it's funny how I think it was just like a diner before, and now it's made it to like a whole little just like pie room area.
It's up to us to save this place.
Is this cracked?
Whatever we do, we're playing God.
We are gods. The timeline is running out.
How do you choose who lives and who dies?
Make the hard choice.
It's him.
You better run!
War is on its way.
Come on, you're
God.
out of mischief.
Always have been. Always will be.
Loki season 2.
A little over the top, don't you think?
I thought it was spot on.
Alright, so here's the thing. When, Avengers and all that stuff came out, and Loki, I'm just like, alright, bad guy, whatever. I didn't really care too much, about who Loki was and all that stuff. After watching Overly Sarcastic Productions, videos on Loki, as well as the Loki series, I really like Loki a lot. Especially mythology-wise, and the thing is, it kind of sucks that in the Marvel, even though I don't know how they would, they could easily just say, magic or shit. Loki's the father of the giant god wolf Fenrir and all this shit. And all these world-ending things, and then in Order Sarcastic Production kind of sets up that maybe Loki was actually a god of man, kind of a protector of men. The whole idea of Loki starting Ragnarok and ending everything is the idea of because the Aesir and all those were kind of self-absorbed big assholes kind of thing, and the idea is that Loki did that to reset the world kind of and protect it. And all this shit, I really like that kind of take on Loki a lot. And honestly, I really like this version of Loki so much. Can I do that any louder? But I love this Loki so damn much. And like spoilers for the show, I guess. It's a quick review. I'll go another one later, I don't know. But deeper later, but I don't know. But yeah, this show sold me 100% on Loki. I love it so much. And I say this, and like out of the Marvel shows, because internet hates everything at this point. But out of all the Marvel shows, Loki is probably one of my favorites. Loki and Moon Knight are two of my favorites, which that's gonna piss some people off. Like, that's not comic accurate. Shut up. Especially if you like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. Shut up. But Loki actually really and the thing is too, I feel like a lot of the things that some complaints that were in season 1, they kind of addressed a bit in this season, where there's things like, well, why isn't Loki using his powers more? Like, you see him more using his powers when he's not in the TVA. Or, this whole entire chase sequence and everything is very, Loki mischievous and all that stuff. And, I especially love, when he's shaking out this guy who's an agent. And where was it? I know I saw it around here somewhere. Where you see the shadows start to, manifest.
The past and the present.
I want to get a notebook of that TVA one. I'm sure it's gonna come out soon.
There's nothing to stand between this world and utter destruction.
Only one way to find out. Little good old war. Styles, you're a man.
The Chicago World's Fair.
I take a more slow, deliberate, cerebral approach. It's really goodbye.
Is Key Lime Pie really good?
Slow, deliberate. Styles, you're a man of action, which is fine. I take a more.
Let's see.
Goodbye.
I want to see if I can find it.
It's up to us to save this place.
Is this cracked?
No, it's fine. Also, OB, who, if I remember correctly, is the kid from The Goonies, who was also in the multiverse movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which, if I remember correctly, Everything Everywhere All at Once, was it that the writer or director of that was going to make Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, or was going to make Loki season 1, and now the actor is in both, so. Well, not the director, but the actor at least.
We're playing God.
We are
You're also wearing a Egyptian symbol of gods, or of immortality. Right there, I love that. I love the freaking horn, this shadow forming. But Loki is, I really, really like this season a lot. This season is really good. And I love that, you see, they're turning the TVA into something good. And there is, the whole idea of free will also with, the idea of the multiverse. Because the biggest thing in this entire season, it pretty much is that after He Who Remains is killed, the multiverse starts to expand, but it turns out that he had a device that was created, the temporal loom, to, I guess, focus, pretty much to create the sacred timeline, to focus the sacred timeline, where the entire season is about Loki trying to stop this from happening, where him pretty much using the temporal loom first off to stop his time slipping, where he's slipping to the past, present, and future, where he, but then eventually they have to try to expand the temporal loom to allow for more timelines to go through it, for the multiverse to go through, because if not, the multiverse starts to unravel and die. Or it'll explode and take out the TVA and all this stuff. And it's the idea, and a lot of this season, it's about them having to deal with remnants of the old TVA, in a sense, of the people who think no, we have to take out all the timelines. There's remnants of, there's Loki having to stop to try to stop the temporal loom from exploding, for killing the TVA. There's stuff to do with Sylvie, and eventually they have to find a variant of He Who Remains, Dr. Timely, and it's like this season honestly is really, really good and really, really fun. And like it's funny too because there's a lot of points in this season too where I was like, oh no, are they gonna really like say like that's the better thing to do or it's because I'm okay. I love the video game series Assassin's Creed, and this has a very kind of similar idea of like it's a very similar idea of like order and chaos kind of thing, where and that's why the thing like unlike let's say the Empire where like you could. I feel like the Empire, you could do more. You could obviously tell some stories and like maybe kind of like certain aspects of the Empire, but then still be like, yeah, they're still the bad guys and stuff like that. Or maybe you can make the Empire into guy. I don't know. This idea because it's either. And it's like the idea of like Assassin's Creed, like you can't really do that. Where like at least for me, you can't really do that. It's like, oh yeah, if you side with the Templars, you're siding with order, as in no one has free will and everyone pretty much has to follow in line, direct thing. And if you've seen Laserhawk, which I'll get that review out hopefully soon, you see how that ends up. And then you have Assassin's Creed, which are just free will, which is chaos, and the idea that you govern yourself, what. You try not to create, kill people, and pretty much, you learn how to control your free will and all that stuff. Loki season 2 plays around with that a lot, where it's the idea of what should Loki do? Should he allow the sacred timeline to be created, or should he allow, the branches, the multiverse to happen, where we have like pure chaos? So do you have order where everything's a single thing, or do you have chaos, which could end with a multiverse of war, which we kind of know is gonna happen. But also I do hope, and also the Majors, the guy who plays Kang and He Who Remains, all this stuff, I hope he's innocent because he's a really good actor, and I liked him in Lovecraft Country, and I like him in this. He's actually really good. I want to see, because he plays a really good, he can play a really cool kind of good guy, but then he can play a really good bad guy, and it's really, really awesome. And there's just a bunch of cool things in this, like Loki's time slipping, where he allows him to view different aspects for different characters. Also, McDonald's paid a lot of money for this, I'm assuming, because they are Papa Balaka Sylvie decides, I want to live a normal life working at McDonald's. It's like, okay. But McDonald's. It allowed Loki to see kind of where his friends in the TVA would be if they were never picked up by the TVA. But then also on the flip side of that, we see, Loki, and obviously everyone's trying to create the TVA to make a better place. And we also see Loki kind of, learn new powers. And I don't want to spoil it too much, but they're really cool powers. And, the whole idea, obviously, is about they're really cool powers. And I'm like, holy shit, how are they gonna, because I was expecting him to eventually reemerge with the main timeline, where the MCU and all that stuff. But it seems like they might not do that. How this ends. One, World Tree, freaking amazing. If you've seen this thing, But I saw the World Tree, I'm like, oh my god. Pretty much, let's just say it this way: Loki becomes a god. He was already a god. He is a god. Holy shit. And it's so badass. And you even see the gold in the horns. It's so freaking great. But anyway, I legit want to get that pop figure of him in the throne with anyways, I'm not spoiling it, well, kind of spoiling it. I loved that. It was so much the perfect idea of him actually becoming a god and getting what he wanted, even though it's the idea of he doesn't necessarily want that anymore. But I really like this a lot. And especially when he learns to control his new powers, I love kind of how he does that, where it's the idea of like, why do you want to do it? Well, why do you want to control it? And then it turns out in the end, it's because he wants to be with his friends. It's a whole found family thing. He wants to be with his friends. He wants to protect his friends. He doesn't want to be left alone. I'm like, oh my god, I love this character so much. Loki's my favorite. And on one hand, like how it ends, I'm like, all right, that makes sense, especially because he is stupid powerful by the time, by the end of this. But also on the same note, like, I think they've set it up to a point where he will make an appearance, and assuming nothing happens in the next few years to stop something like the Secret Wars and King Dynasty, he will appear in the future. Kind of like how, if you've ever seen, is it DC or is it Marvel? I think it's DC, where it's the big ass hand that like collapses over the universe and then creates it. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if like Loki, like MCU Loki, or this Loki will become kind of that for Marvel or the MCU bits, where he is like a god among gods kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know, but like I feel like we'll eventually see the Loki again. The thing is, like, this is technically variant Loki. Like, he's not the main Loki who died, but then also like it wouldn't surprise me if we now with the multiverse we could see Loki return again and either be evil Loki. We could see hero Loki come back. I don't know. But it's really cool. I don't know. This entire season was great. OB was awesome. Mr. Timely's kind of fun. It's fun. And like, I do feel like those, like, they kind of dialed back Sylvie and Loki's like love relationship a little bit. Because I feel like I don't think any of that really kind of ever got brought up again. Even though like that was a whole big thing with the first season, where like they so much like them together would cause such a rift in time and space and all that stuff, but it doesn't really come up here. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess they kind of went in a different direction. I know that apparently Marvel talked with them, like not for that specifically, but like apparently they were gonna have like a whole out multiverse war, which makes sense because the beginning. There is some things like in the beginning of the season, there is kind of a cop-out where last season ended with, it looked like Loki traveling to another timeline where Kang is ruling the TVA, like full out. It's not the timekeepers or whatever the hell. And they're like, who are, like, Mobius like, who are you? So it's a timeline where Loki was never there. And I'm like, okay. But then, like, we find out, no, it's the past of the TVA. Which, in a way, like, all right. Like, I do feel like it's a cop-out a little bit, because I'm like, all right, because the director said, like, oh, yeah, we were going to have a multiverse war. Which I'm like, yeah, that's 100% what I took that as. That, like, he actually traveled to another multiverse. He didn't travel to another, to the past of the TVA, but whatever. It allowed Loki to have a really cool power and a really powerful one. But the thing that's nice is, like, it's so powerful. I do think, like, it's like we're never gonna see this Loki again as a main character probably for a minute. Like, I'm pretty sure this is the end of Loki, the show at least. Which kind of sucks because this was one of my favorites. Because man, that's the thing too. Like, I'm watching Secret Invasion right now with my sister, and it's fun. It's fine. Don't get me wrong. It's pretty fun. But I don't know, like the spy thriller, or then you go to like Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then Captain America and Winter Soldier. And then like I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, like, that lowest stake shit, it's just like, I don't give a shit about, like, the whole government kind of thing ones. I'm just, okay, fine. But stuff like Moon Knight, I love that shit. That expanded the universe so big. Like, I don't know, like, Even She-Hulk I actually really like too. Because here's the thing, like those ones, I'm just kind of like, okay, it's a terrorist group, I guess, and the government stuff like that. I'm like, all right, fine, whatever. Maybe it'll maybe feel more because it's supposed to be set up for the Marvels, I guess. But stuff like Loki, I really love because it sets up stuff like the multiverse. It sets up, different time travel things. And like be able to create different timelines, all that stuff. Like I love that shit. And then you have stuff like Moon Knight, where it expands the idea on gods and magic, extending that as well. I don't know. But like I love those a lot, and I feel like Loki, out of like all the shows, I think really did it really. WandaVision was actually really good too. But I feel like out of all the shows, Loki was doing really, really well. Like I would say Loki and Moon Knight are probably my favorite like Marvel like TV shows right now. But yeah, the show is great. Honestly, I love his abilities. Oh shit, I spoil that. Well, yeah, I like his new abilities. I like his where he ends up kind of at the end. Even though like it is like, okay, we're not gonna see this guy again for a minute. But I feel like we will see him again, like in Secret Wars or whatnot. But the show is great. I like Loki's character development, him like doing this for his friends, and like everything that kind of happens. And also a cool thing that I found out is that I never really put it together, but Mobius means like it's very much like if you take, it's like you could put your finger on a thing and like spin around and it'll always be the same thing. In a circle, it'll always be like the one side, constant one side forever kind of thing. A Mobius strip. Where then Goonie here, or the I can't remember what he was named in the Goonies. But I'm sorry, but OB here for Ouroboros is obviously a snake eating its own tail, and they even play around with that a little bit too, with like a book that was written by him, but also written by another guy. This is great. I think this show has a really, I like the TVA, like the aesthetic of the TVA, and like how they're turning it into something good. I like the time traveling kind of things. I love the abilities that Loki gets. And like stuff with Sylvie and all that stuff is pretty fun. I do feel like Sylvie kind of got sidelined a little bit, but the show was still freaking great. I enjoyed this all the way through, and I like again Loki's probably one of my favorites, and like mythology wise, he's really freaking cool as well. If you haven't seen like stuff like the Iser stuff or like all the Norse mythology stuff on Overly Sarcastic Production stuff, go check those out. They're really good. So I did the stuff with Loki. It's freaking great. I think it was like the Loki one where he talked about, like there's a Loki specific episode, and that's where I think Red goes into the idea of Loki being like a god of the people and all that stuff. But yep, go check this out. It's great. This might be my last video that I do here. Well, at least technically, because I have a review that I recorded beforehand, but I'll put that later. But thanks for watching my videos. Hopefully enjoy this. I'm gonna go knock out. And go check this show out because it's really, really fun. And it's one of the best, like, I think Marvel Studio shows right now. I'm not counting like the Netflix ones right now, but like I definitely say this is probably one of the best ones. This is one of the of these versions where like they're directly connected to MCU. This is one of the best ones. And I think season 2 beat out season 1. Especially like certain like cliffhangers that were in some episodes. You're like, oh my god, like what's gonna happen? Like holy shit, like it's really fun. And they play around with time a lot. That's really cool. And like going back to season 1. And like there was a point where I was just like, oh my god, is this gonna be like, are they gonna undo like everything and make the entire season pointless? Like, no, they actually don't. And I'm like, oh shit, okay. Like it plays around with that idea a lot where I'm like, yeah, and then say, oh no. No, you did good. I like that. But thank you for watching my videos. Hope you enjoy this and we'll see you later. Also, if you look up his lineage of like all the kids he has, like it gets insane. More insane than probably Zeus. Almost as insane as Zeus.